Well, I'd say that's not all the blocks I've been in, and every block has regulars for each shift. I'd say,
I mean, how many really bad ones compared to how many good ones?
Here's definitely more bad ones than good ones, because it's not even a comparison. The good ones are rare, so when you hear them, you establish that respect. That's something that you begin to look forward to, or it's something that you appreciate. It's not something that you want to, put on a bad day.
Yeah, because nobody wants to wake up every day with some kind of discontention or argument, right?
Right, yeah, exactly. You don't want to have a bad day and all of a sudden ruin some type of mutual respect that's your breath before that you build up with a guy that's just coming in here, or a woman, that's just coming in here, and they treat you with respect, they give you everything you got coming. I've only experienced that a few times, and I appreciate it when I do.
Yeah.
For the majority, down here, they feel like they got something to prove. There's a culture that they're not trained in their job, that they're all supposed to do.
Well, I know it's a hug-a-thug culture, and if they view somebody as a hug-a-thug, they make fun of them, and it's most likely the older ones that are seasoned that really don't care about validation from any of the people that would be saying something like that. But when you have new people coming in and they're trying to acclimate to their new job, like it's really stressful when you're thinking, oh my God, the only way I'm going to fit in is if they're not picking on me, and so then they almost feel like they have something to prove, to make the other guys like accept them,
Yeah, exactly.
And that's terrible. It's terrible. And in a way, that is the prison's fault, because if they've got excessive uses of force against an employee, and that employee is creating a hostile environment, it's not just for the prisoners, but they're creating a hostile environment for all the new employees and anybody that they work around, because that's a lot of stress on people around them that want to do a good job, And I know that just from working in the hospital or anywhere else. It's not just prisons that are like that, but when you work around toxic people, it makes your job suck. And then a lot of these people are probably thinking, this is a good union job, a good pay. I have to find a way to survive, in this culture so I can keep this good job, because they might not have skills to have another job that pays that well. And in some areas, especially Lucasville, there's nowhere else really to get a job. So they feel like they have to stay in an environment like that, in a job like that. And you've got these younger ones coming in, and that's sad, because, that's who's training them. But, so the legal aspect of how you guys do not have the same things that people in Toledo and OSP. You were telling me that there was a term for that in the legal arena.
Yeah, well, that's just protection.
Equal protection, yeah.
Yeah, you have a 14th Amendment violation that goes under the 14th Amendment. All persons born in the United States, are protected and have. They shouldn't enforce any laws that would abide the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States. Nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. So equal protection applies to any class of persons, and this can be by race, sex, all that. But lawsuits have already been made where courts all across the country, the 6th Circuit, which is our federal court around here, have already stated that inmates are a protected class, because we had similar conditions were classed by a security level, where there are certain procedures governing our privileges and wherever we're entitled to. We're housed in a similar environment, so we are a protected class of person. So if you have a person at the security level 4B and Lucasville, then we should have the same exact treatment as a 4B prisoner in OSP, hands down. And even if it doesn't reach that far, it definitely reaches far enough to protect you within the same institution. So with me being SOCS, and me being a level EN prisoner, I should have the same exact treatment of other EN prisoners that are in SOCF, and I don't. No other prisoner in SOCF, let alone the whole entire state of Ohio, is in a cell just like I'm in right now.
So what did they do to hide your situation when the chief inspector came to inspect? Tell me about what happened there.
I was sitting at the front of my cell and I was waving at the guy to get his attention because it looked like he had a camera and he was here to take pictures of the glass houses. But for some reason, he wanted to come to my cell phone to take pictures of my cell. He was only taking pictures of the first two cells. And them are open cells that are glass houses. But they don't have a camera and they don't have locked vents and they don't have a lockbox on their tray hash that requires two separate padlocks with two separate keys. So it's like they were trying to keep me away from myself. So it looked like the guy was maybe trying to, it looked like he was a little bit curious what was going on. But instead of him coming straight to my cell, he like backed all the way up against the outside wall so he could get like a panoramic view of the situation and maybe get a little bit of a picture into my cell. But it wasn't enough. I mean, you really have to come to the front of my cell and see what's going on here to see that my vents are blocked. They got still place where those.
What about the size of your cell compared to those other cells? Is the size the same?
Hell no, them cells over there are like 2 times the size of my cell. I got a small ass cell. If I walk out of here, because the ventilation is blocked and because it's so small that the glass plate, the plexiglass that they got still on the embargo fogs up. I walk out and I'm immediately sweating. It don't matter if it's 20 degrees. I'm in here sweating.
So in the summertime when you were washing your clothes and you said that the heat was so bad, how fast did you say your clothes were drying in that cell because of the lack of ventilation?
My clothes were drying in like 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was
and normally, in a normal cell, how long would it take for your clothes to dry?
It's crazy because in a normal cell with proper ventilation and air, it still takes like 6 hours just for a shirt to dry. I couldn't understand why it was taking so fast to dry, being that sometimes it's humid, so it's just stagnant. There's no air in it. Like I'll soak the shirt with water, flat out a couple times, hanging up, and in like an hour, it's completely dry to the point where it's like stiff. Like I can pick it up and it will just stand up by itself. It's so stiff.
So if we're going to summarize how your cell is different than the cells that the chief inspector came and took pictures of, your cell is considerably smaller. Your cell doesn't have ventilation, but they did come and drill a couple holes, didn't they, in response to your grievance? And why didn't he come and inspect the holes that they drilled? Because wasn't he the one that ordered that? I mean, you would think that if he was coming to inspect, he would come and inspect your cell because of all the grievances you've won.
Right. The health and safety inspector came here and said that it was bad, and then he actually told them to completely remove them or modify them to a way to where there was no obstruction whatsoever. But what they did is they came here, they didn't even do anything with the top end. They left it how it was, which has holes in it that are like the size of a bead on a necklace, maybe.
Yeah.
And then you got my outside vent, which is the most important vent, because that's where the air is in my cell is supposed to be, so fresh air can come in. It is completely obstructed. It only has a minimal amount of holes that doesn't match the original vent. There's already a vent in there that already has a security purpose. It already has small holes. There's no reason for it to be blocked in the first place, so it's already put in there for a reason and designed for a purpose.
Right.
So they took a metal plate and floated it over and put micro holes.
And the purpose of that is to torture whoever's in there by making the temperatures extreme enough that your clothes would dry in a half hour.
I think the purpose of it is to kill you.
Oh, I know. They couldn't kill you in the Melendez fight, so now they're trying to kill you that way. I know.
They want to come face me so I can't breathe.
Right.
And I'm already aware of that, and I want myself in that situation, but really I'm going to do it. But anyway, so what they did was they came and they took a little drill bit and just widened the holes just a little bit, but it still doesn't match the original vent. So I do not have the same thing that all the other prisoners in SOCF past. So I am my protection is definitely a violator. It's doing with punishment, with protection, corporal punishment, you know what I mean, all the way across the board.
Yeah, and it sounds to me like they have a vendetta against you, and they've had a vendetta against you for years, but you've never actually done anything to these people to cause them to be treating you the way that they did. You didn't do anything to them to provoke you to go to Lucasville to begin with and skip the whole classification process. But then we have the classification department telling us it was Trumbull County's prosecutor that caused you to go to Lucasville to begin with. And so, and now you've got this Galloway that left his job at OSP and comes to Lucasville, and then I'm getting word from people from OSP that Galloway claims that he was going to make sure that you never left Lucasville, and all we have seen so far is evidence after evidence after evidence that this man has some kind of a vendetta against you. You don't know him, you've never met him, and all he has is an ill-conceived...
1 minute remaining.
He has an ill-conceived perception that you committed a crime that you had nothing to do with. And they think that you killed somebody that you thought was your friend.
Definitely. And his job is to specifically oversee security, criminal oversee the center myself and the whole entire construction. Which that claim was for another person, but that other person was only in here for 5 days, and I immediately brought him out. So I think he goes there. But anyway, she also oversees the office and the manager chief. His job is to do a ride out. So he's definitely in control of my ride out and the construction of himself. And they're not intending to let me ride out anytime soon. Specifically told me don't ask me not leave. I got an indefinite thought department, and apparently I'm going to be serving in this cell until I go on stand or something like that.
But you know what, buddy? I want to give you credit. You've lasted longer than anybody else that's ever been in there. You outlasted.